live. So, what window I see you in? Okay, got
Ah,
it.
okay.
Hello. I think we're live.
Hello. Hey there, everybody. Welcome. Uh, I am looking forward to talking with Kathy Basil about her upcoming event on Valentine's Day. And I had talked with her and I had said that, it certainly sounds like the work that you're going to do is going to help healers and intuitives and psychics and coaches to actually love their work a little bit more because it's going to make the marketing a whole lot easier. So Kathy, tell us the name of the event and when it is exactly, and what can we expect?
All right. First, let me thank Joe Petrosky, who's an amazing healer, CEO of Profoundly Living, and just one of those people, and really typical. I mean, the work that you do is hard to describe, right? I think we all struggle. And oh my gosh, when you get that question of what do you do, you're like, I'm kind of like um, at one point in time, we had a designation of certified fucking miracle worker so that we can put some initials behind what the work is that we do. But the short of it is that not just coaches and healers, but a lot of times solopreneurs, and I say solopreneurs, I mean those people who are coming from the heart, they're wired to make a difference in the world. And sometimes it's hard for us to articulate for ourselves
Mhm.
what it is that we do. So it's kind of funny because I've got a background in marketing for forever. I used to do branding and advertising at Office Depot. So big stuff, right? And for me to try to articulate for myself was a struggle. And I know what I'm doing. So I know that those who are trying to do it on their own, it's just hard to do for ourselves because we get caught up in the head of all the things we think it's supposed to be. And the nice thing is AI doesn't have this, right? So it's phenomenal when you understand, and I can give you the prompts. This is what got me so excited because coming from a place of understanding, I can equip other solopreneurs with the prompts so that they can articulate better than they ever have what it is, the transformation that they bring in a way that resonates deeply with the people that they're called to serve. So
Yeah, that was one of the things when you were talking to me about this is that you can use either the Myers-Briggs information or even the bank code information of the way that you would like to be able to, what kind of message do you want to have this be like? Do you want to have it be nurturing or do you want to be action-based or, and with the Myers-Briggs, do you want to reach out to the empathetic people, to the leaders, the action takers? And so it sounds like, wow.
it truly is. It truly is. It's groundbreaking. And the thing, we hear about all the efficiency of AI. Like, absolutely. You type in a prompt and it spits out the result right away. But I'm guessing people, if they have tried it out, they're getting mediocre results. And if they haven't tried it out, then they're not getting any results at all. So I want to just make it easy. So in the workshop where I'm going to take you step by step to help you understand first how it is that we're connecting, because if we're healers or light workers or these soul driven people, we're wired to connect heart to heart. And just like you said, we can use information. So ChatGPT has a little section in there. It's called custom instructions, and I'm going to walk you through how to take your, I'm an ENJF, and I'm suspecting that a lot of other people called to this workshop will also be empathetic types who, by the way, we also have an aversion to selling because that self-promotion is kind of presumptuous. And so we kind of shy away with that.
Mhm.
But when we get down to the messaging that feels like this is the work we're called to do. Like when we get to this point of like, I get to share what it is that I do, all of a sudden it opens up. It kind of like diminishes like the resistance that we had to the selling and feeling like we had to coerce somebody into something that they didn't want to do. That goes away. Now we tap into that passion, that excitement of like, Joe, the work that you do, you are a psychic, like, and can just tap right in, not just beyond the physical thing to get to the true core of what's holding people back in their lives. And that's
Mhm.
on a spiritual, emotional, that mental, you get to that seed. And, people aren't getting to the core of their problems. They may be trying all kinds of solutions time and time again and still not getting a lasting result. So how do we
That was some,
articulate that?
yeah, and that was something that was really interesting that you had helped me with a while back, a long while back. And I knew that I needed to reach out to a high-powered double a professional that owned a number of companies and yet needed to be nurtured. And he had to understand that I knew what I knew. And it was that balance of he needed to be nurtured, but he needed to hear why he should act and what the costs were. And you would help me with some AI way back then. And I was sitting there, I was like, oh wow, that sounds exactly like him. And so when I did that, and I actually took what you gave me and sent out that email, the man had said, it's just like, oh wow, he says, I truly see that you understand me now. But what it was is you helped me because I didn't have the ability to put that into language. I knew what he needed, but I'm not a businessman. I am not an executive. I talk in analogies and such like that, and people enjoy how I teach, but I didn't know how to quote unquote sell or to basically tell them what my product was, whether it was a pen or a banana. And you with your AI stuff way back then was able to help me. So I can't even imagine what this is because that was a number of months ago.
Yeah. And you had mentioned the bank code, or, if you can take somebody and understand what their bank code is, you can essentially put your copy into AI and say, translate this. I'm ENJF, or, from a Myers-Briggs, translate this from blue languaging to red languaging. And it's going to come down with what a fellow like in the business world who doesn't speak in terms of energy and past life regressions and, doesn't talk in that terms. And what you do is exactly what they need. So how do we articulate that transformation in a way that those people can hear it? It gave me goosebumps when you said that, of that, wow, this man was able to understand me. And that's what we're
Mhm.
looking to do in the selling process is, the adage of people do business, they buy from people they know, like, and trust. The trust has to be that you understand me and you can be the guide I've been seeking for to get me across this hurdle that I've tried many times before, mind you. So now I've got a lot of resistance up because it hasn't worked before. Why you? So now we get to come in and we do it from, an expanded heart space because of AI. So it's kind of ironic that we get this robot and it's helping to articulate what's on our heart and the true transformation actually in an emotional, languaging, if
Mhm.
you will. So it's not just, from a marketing standpoint, we talk in terms of demographics. Who's your ideal client? Well, it's women over 50 and they're, struggling after divorce or something like that. That's kind of still surface level. Let's dive in deeper with the prompts that we can give you in
Mhm.
ChatGPT to get to the psychographics. What is it? What is their biggest fear? How long have they been struggling with it? What are they making it say about themselves? What are they afraid to show their spouse? What's going to happen in 3 years if this doesn't change? And then on the flip side, like now let's get clear on, what's that transformation? Now they worked with Joe. It's like, man, their body, that knee pain that they've had for 20 years is gone like in a week. Yeah, how did that happen? And now they've got this new zeal for life. And what are the words they're using? Your businessman's going to be different than your
Mhm.
mother who's like stepping out after empty nest, and it's going to help us translate it into those things. And the research that you can do, you can find the books they're reading, their favorite podcasters, so what kind of quotes to use, what kind of languaging to use, and that's it. It's just learning the art of speaking your ideal client's language. It's kind of like your love language, if I'm a touchy, quality time person and somebody else doesn't meet me in that way, slowly over time, the relationship can begin to diminish. And what we want to do is bring that gap together again, so you're connecting to one another and understand.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. And one of the things that you had helped me again when you had done it long ago was to literally emphasize the magnitude of what I believe that I could deliver. And that was something that was well stated with this AI that wasn't egotistical, wasn't, what the hell, or wasn't promised, it was in a language that people could be like, oh, wow, really? And that was one of the things that incited the person to ask questions. And, because when you're talking about that pain, he says, really, you can actually do that? And it's like, yeah, actually, completely, totally, almost always. But it was through the AI because when I talk about it, it's kind of, I don't know if pragmatic is the right way, but it's basically, it's like, yeah, I can make it go away. And most people are just like, okay, yeah, you're selling snake oil.
Yeah.
And, so it was the way that it set it out was, again, palatable, um, understandable, but also tell me more. That was one of the things that was so nice because when our clients will say, tell me more, it's like, "Yay!" They're listening, and we know that they're really desiring support. And we don't have to convince, we just have to simply assure. And that was something that was your work helped me do that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And so I like something that you said at the beginning of that, of kind of, we created a picture of the kind of work that you do in languaging that had you own up to just how powerful the work you do is. I think us as healers, we tend to understate that. It's kind of like, oh yeah, well, past lives, oh yeah, genetic karma from inherited like a dozen lifetimes. Yeah, we can do that. And there's a there's a profoundness that we need to stand up with so that they understand the depth of the work that you're doing.
mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, and that's nice because, like you say, I mean, you've talked to a number of us that are coaches and healers, and where we can get these results. Because of our kind of our own secret recipe, our own secret sauce. And describing the secret sauce isn't necessarily what they need sometimes. They need to be able to have their questions answered. So when we can understand who we're trying to recruit or enroll, we can understand, are they empathetic or are they all business? Are they type A? Those kinds of things. And so, yeah, this is why to me it's exciting because literally, when you had me do it the last time, you'd said try this and try this and try this, and so I did, and poof, 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 and I was like, whoa, and so I just simply had to change like three or four things in what it had done. I'm and so part of me is like, oh shit, Siri, and Alexa are listening to me again, because it's kind of like when you start talking about, yellow inflatable, pools, all of a sudden, on your phone or on your web, it starts coming up, and so, mhm,
Yeah.
so,
So, and again, I want to pull out something super valuable that you said, because we're meeting the client with where they are right now. A lot of times we're seeing the transformation of what's possible on the other side. They can't even hear that right now. Their knee is in such pain. They don't care about the spiritual yearning or the childhood trauma or whatever that is. They just want this pain to go. And so we get to speak to them where they are, allude to what more is possible. But if you start promising the moon, they're not going to be able to. That trust is kind of broken in a way. They're
mhm,
not believing that all of that is possible. So how do we strike that balance? And so crazy enough, AI can help us do that. So
mhm,
so exciting. And during the workshop, so it's 90 minutes, and it's called Create 30 Days of Content in 90 Minutes with AI and Kathy, I guess. But what we'll do is walk again, just simple. I'm going to share all my best prompts to help you get clear on who your ideal client is. More than that, we are going to identify their top problems that you're going to be
mhm,
uniquely positioned. You're going to articulate why you are have that unique background to meet them where they are. And then we'll create the content pillars. And from that, this is like you're kind of walking away with a whole blueprint that you can repeat month after month. But during this, we're gonna get her done. This is not just learning, strategy, and then you got a longer to-do list when you get out of the workshop. We're actually going to dive in. There's doing time. I'm going to give you the prompts. You'll walk through, create your marketing pillars. I'm going to give you a formula. This is not about using AI to crank out more crap. This, yes, AI is fast, but honestly, you do yourself a disservice and others if you are cranking out lots of stuff that's not good work. So we're going to help you shine your soul through each of the things. I want to simplify it so you're actually posting less. But I like how you were saying, Joe, when you said about when you were languaging to that fellow in a way that he could hear, so he was leaning in. Imagine now taking that message and putting that out 2 or 3 times a week on social media. So the adage used to be, back when the olden days before COVID, that 6 to 10 touches is what it would take before somebody was ready to take action. These days with you know, it's a busy world. It's noisy out there. There's some people who say it's 19 touches. There's others who say it's more. Regardless, what if instead of content is king, connection is the real thing that we're after here? And if you can shine your soul, be authentic in who you are, give a nice balance, and I'll show you how to balance the messaging across. You pick the number of posts you're going to do each week. I don't want to overload you. It's just like a good exercise plan. What's the best exercise to do? It's like the one that you're committed to do for the long haul. So that's what we're after. Let's find the cadence that is your cadence. So is it, even if it's 2 posts, I'd rather you have do 2 stellar posts a week than coming up with stuff, and a lot of times it's hard to be consistent because you get a client, it's like, yay, we got a bunch of clients. It's like, but I haven't posted for 2 weeks. No. What we're going to do is give you the formula and you just mesh this together and you're going to have just,
Yeah, and that was something too, because with the posting, I really don't enjoy writing, even when the AI was doing it. And so there was a time where it's just like, but what I did is I used the AI information to have a bullet point for my live. And so I was able to give the presentation because, again, at the time, what I was looking at is it was around Mother's Day last year. And I was looking at it, it's like, okay, how do I reach out to the mothers that are sad because they're divorced or they're empty nesters, where being a mother isn't what it used to be. And it was something that I just didn't feel like putting it in writing. To me, that was impersonal. But I used that AI to have it be in a live where I could use the language that registered. And I got 5 DMs right away, that were just like, oh my God, I couldn't believe that you did this. And, it resonated so much, and you cannot understand how much it helped me. And I've been struggling and struggling and struggling. And, and one woman, she said, it's like, I just broke down and cried. She goes, you put in words what I was struggling with. And so
great. Now you're going to make me cry.
yeah, so the reason I'm saying that is I'm letting people know that when you have the parameters that you're going to give us, the prompts, like you say, you told me the prompts to put in there. And so when you told me the prompts to put in there, and then I did it, then it had the verbiage that was really authentic and true. And I tweaked 2 of them.
Yeah.
But it was something where I was able to get at how do we bring this up when we're feeling, that bad? And I needed support on finding those words. And so with the prompts that you suggested, yeah, it worked.
Honestly, it's so good to get to that heart message. And like I said, I literally was tearing up as you're saying that, and that's what we're after. It's that heart to heart connection and knowing the right prompts to use and where to insert your Myers-Briggs or your bank code. so that you get to that. It's a game changer. It truly can be a game changer.
Mhm. Totally.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so again, it's Valentine's Day this Wednesday. And it's
So it's
what time?
noon Mountain Time, which
Noon.
is 2 Eastern. Let me do math, 11 for
Okay.
Pacific Coast. And I know there's some folks coming in, popping in from London, so that'll be 7 o'clock for you guys. Um, Absolutely. This is a hands-on super. Oh, and there's only spaces for 20 people because we're going to get it done. Each one of us is going to have time to share. So the spaces is limited. And this is my kickoff. And what I love, I did it on Valentine's Day so that you can fall in love with your mission and your message all over again. This is what I love to share. And so with that, I'm offering the workshop's just $20 to begin with, but I also decided for Valentine's Day, it just kind of seemed like date night. So bring a guest, buy your ticket for $20 and you can bring a guest for free.
I just had to change it in my calendar because I knew it's like, okay, I know there's something at noon. What was it at noon? But that's why it was like, no, it's for me, it's 2 o'clock Eastern time. So I had to change it. And I'm good. I'm glad. I'm looking forward to it. And so I would definitely like to be able to, if there's something that I can take from this and post on my page, and to highlight it and your link and stuff like that, because I know a number of people that would really benefit from this. And so,
Awesome. So please spread the love. It's Valentine's Day, and my mission around all this is that the coaches, healers, and change makers of the world have this special gift that this world needs right now. And my mission is help them get their message out in a way that lands, and so they can serve more people and make the change, be the change.
mhm.
So, anyways, thanks so much, Joe, for taking the
Well,
time. I
you're
really
welcome. You're
appreciate
welcome.
you.
Yeah. It's nice to be able to support people, and the fact that you're going to be supporting other healers and coaches and such. It's wonderful. So very, very good. So awesome.
And the link will be below if anyone's looking for it. All right.
Good.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Okay. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.